today I've got my daughter Lacey with me to record a podcast episode. She's 11 and she's been juggling school with self-tapes, auditions, filming, training, etc. And she's agreed to be on today. Hello, Lacey.
Hello.
Anything I missed out in your introduction?
I used to do dance.
Yes, a lot of dance. What's your favourite discipline of dance?
I like lyrical and jazz.
Very nice, lyrical and jazz. Lyrical, very storytelling.
Yes.
Very nice. Okay, so Lacey's done a few films recently.
Yep.
And you did get recalled for a popular TV series. That probably seems like a while ago for you now.
Yeah,
which we still can't talk about. So we won't. But I will talk to you about what it was like not talking about it.
Yeah.
And you're also just being a normal 11-year-old in a village and attending school.
Yeah.
So tell us, Lace, what was it like, if you can think back to the first time you were on set? I think it was a student set for you. Tell us a little bit about.
Well, it was very exciting, mainly, but then it was also a bit nerve-wracking because there's all these older students with cameras in your face and mics that are cold on your back, and and you've got to meet new people that you've never met before and interact with them.
I know how I think you are with new people.
Yeah.
How do you think you are with meeting lots of new people?
I think I'm okay, but then I do get a little bit nervous and more shy than I usually am when I meet new people.
Yeah, I think maybe it takes you a bit of warm-up.
Yeah.
By the time you were on your second student film, I thought you were hilarious.
Oh,
You were
thank you.
entertaining everyone. And I think the first student set helped you because there were lots of animals on set.
Yes.
So you were bonding with the animals,
The animals.
which was really nice. Yeah. So you'd say maybe a little bit nervous,
Yeah.
but on the whole, was it a good
Yeah,
experience?
it was definitely a good experience.
And what would you say your highlights were of being on those early student sets?
Probably meeting all the new people and also I really like the acting part of it all.
I was very impressed with how well you took direction. So that's the first time I think I'd seen you being directed by someone that wasn't me. 'Cause obviously I'd been your drama coach. And I was blown away. I was waiting to ask the director for a bit more. They're like, have you got that, Lacey? You went, yep. I thought, no way. She hasn't got that. And you did. You went in and you absolutely smashed it. You retained direction far better, I think, than most adults would. That was really cool.
I'm still at school though, so I have to
Maybe
take all of that in.
Yeah, maybe the comparison to being on set in terms of what you're learning, being actively learning at school maybe is really good for being on set. Amazing. Okay, how were you treated on these sets?
It was, really nicely. I was treated very nicely by everyone because they would check if I'm okay. They would ask if I needed anything and I could just ask them anything at that point that would to do with the stuff.
I think they put a lot of effort in to make you feel comfortable. Again, you were having quite a laugh and a joke with a lot of them, even on that first set. And I think there were ice creams involved on the second one. And definitely some chocolates as well.
Was there?
Pretty sure they gifted you chocolates.
Yes, that was very good.
It's quite nice. So it's worth it for the chocolates and the footage. So recalls and an NDA. Can you remember what an NDA stands for?
No, but I know it's got to be kept secret. I forgot what
absolutely. I think it's non-disclosure agreement.
That's it. Yeah.
So we both had to sign that to say that we wouldn't talk about this series, and we didn't.
Nope.
But how was that going back into school? Because I know what an open, honest, lovely friend you are.
Yeah.
How did you find that?
It was definitely very tricky because I like to share the things that I'm doing with my friends, and they already know that I was auditioning for it, but they didn't know how far I got, and it was really hard having to keep that secret. It kind of felt like I was hiding something from them, and I definitely really wanted to share it, but I just couldn't.
Yeah, I'm incredibly proud that you managed to, and now it's all died down. It doesn't matter so much, but I believe you're still not supposed to talk about it, which is why we're not. That we're talking about the idea of signing an NDA and not being able to talk about it. That's hard, I think, for an 11-year-old or perhaps younger students.
Yeah.
whether their parents don't tell them. No, they know because you did the callback audition with me and my help. I don't know. What would our best piece of advice be if there was somebody your age or maybe younger that signed an NDA? Well, how would you advise them to deal with that?
I would definitely say, I think when you sign an NDA, you can't say the name of what it is. You can say how far Can you say how far you've...
You can say I'm at round 1, 2, 3, 4, or I've had 5 auditions for this project, but I can't tell you anything about what the project is or the code name or even what I did in my audition. You can't tell them what you were requested to do, which you didn't.
Yeah. So like you can tell them, like, what did I just say? You can tell them how far you've got. But you got to keep everything else a secret because you signed an NDA.
Yeah. And it's natural to be excited about this. Yeah. And like you said, it's really hard to go into school and be like, I did this really cool thing yesterday, guys. Yeah. I can't tell you anything about it. It sounds like showing off, doesn't it? So yeah, I think the top tip would be still be excited. Still let your friends know you're doing exciting stuff.
Because my friends were auditioning for it as well.
You had 1 or 2 friends that did first rounds. And I think one that did some different types of callback to you. Because again, us parents tried really hard not to say. And I was like, oh, you're doing a callback here. She's doing a callback there at the same time. Oh, interesting.
Some of my closest friends auditioned for it. And they were kind of telling me what they were doing. And then they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, I can't really tell you, and that was definitely difficult.
I think because it was an open casting call, a lot of your friends went for it, whereas many of your auditions, almost all of them, you get now are from your agent, and this was via your agent, and their process was slightly different to your process. But again, you were like, that's great, guys, thanks for telling me all about yours. I'm not allowed to tell you about mine.
That was definitely the hardest part.
I think you've got close enough friends now that they kind of accept that and know you're not trying to lie to them, which is really nice. Okay. Oh, this is still about it. What did you want to tell your friends? Yes, you did. Was it frustrating?
Yes.
I guess so. And who could you talk to?
I could definitely talk to you because you signed the NDA, you knew about it. And if I really needed to, I could probably talk to my agent.
Yeah, of course you could. Yeah, that's a good tip. You didn't need to because you had me. But if you were really struggling with the idea of this, then you could reach out to your agent, especially if you've got a good relationship with them. That's a really good tip. I hadn't thought of that. Okay, so getting parts, getting auditions, exciting, fun, great experiences. What about rejection? Are you happy with what I mean by the word?
Yeah.
What do you understand of rejection?
Well, rejection is where sometimes you haven't even done something wrong. Sometimes you have done something wrong.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah, but not in the acting world.
Okay, you're talking about rejection in general.
Yeah, that rejection is basically like when someone... it's really hard to explain. When you're just not...
Would you say picked or chosen? Like not picked, not chosen?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the acting world, do you think you get rejected if you've done something wrong?
No.
I'm kind of giving you leading questions.
Definitely
no, I'm glad you don't feel like that.
It's more rejection in the acting world is where maybe someone was better than you, but not in a mean way. Or sometimes you're just not what they're looking for.
Right.
Like they might be looking for a brunette, green-eyed person. I audition for it. They'll be like, you're not brunette or green-eyed.
I think you're giving a good example in that they might look different, but generally we get that breakdown, don't we? The agents get the breakdown, so they're not going to sub you for sub short for submit. They're not going to submit you for something that is brown hair, green eyes.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, sometimes the agent might think a wild card works. Sometimes, I have heard people say, sometimes the casting directors don't always know.
Yeah.
Sounds like they don't know their job. Of course they do. They don't know what they want until they see it.
Yeah.
So they think it's going to be a brunette, and actually along comes a blonde, and they've got something different in terms of energy. Or it depends on, especially if you're, as a young actor, being part of a family, it depends who they cast in that family sometimes. Have you got to look alike? And
yeah, because that's what I was thinking about Frozen, the musical. It's say if Elsie went for older Elsa and I went for younger Elsa could give us more of a chance because we look so similar.
I see. Do you know what? Talking about
like
family chances, I feel like, especially with the auditions we've had lately, we've had quite a lot of family projects. And I think if the casting directors can cast a family, sometimes it's easier for them because they've only got sort of one set of people to talk to. I think the agents like that as well.
Yeah.
So your sister isn't represented, but she's been hoiked in a handful of times now to work with us, hasn't she? And so's Daddy. And I think, well, for us, it's quite fun.
Yeah.
I actually really love to do a day trip or something all together and all work together on set. I find that really fun. So if you're listening and you've got other children that are willing to join your actor child, it's really good to let your agent know that. It's good to have those extra possibilities and those extra branches. Okay, so what do you do when you are rejected? And I think you mentioned someone's better than you. It could be, I see what you mean.
So it's just not what they're looking for.
Yeah. And sometimes you can get callback after callback and then still get rejected. I don't actually like the word rejected. I've done a whole podcast all about that on my own, so you can go back and listen to that episode if that suits you. But we had a chat. This is interesting that we got some flowers out. We had a chat about flowers, and this is all in my solo podcast as well. You were a bit younger and I talked to you about, oh, what would you pick for Nana Pam? And you were like, oh, purple, because that's her favourite colour. And I said, oh, well, what about these? Are these not nice? And you were like, yeah, they're beautiful, but I'm choosing for Nana Pam today. So if you think of the casting director as Nana Pam on that occasion, it doesn't mean the other flowers are any less beautiful, talented.
Yeah.
It's just that is right for that time, on that day, for that person, for that project. So I wouldn't want you or any other young performers thinking, oh, it's because someone was better than me. Better for this part at this time. It shouldn't ever diminish
mean that you're
you.
Bad.
How do you handle rejection? If I know you handle it all the time, so I'm like, oh, we didn't get that one, and I know that you're super cool with it. In actual fact, in the early days, sometimes I don't tell you about every submission. I don't see the point. I only tend to tell you when something needs actioning. But how do you handle that? Because I wonder if we handle it similarly or differently. If you've gone, say, audition after audition, it's a part you really want, or you got really excited about it, and then I tell you, you didn't get that one. How do you feel? What do you do?
I definitely feel a little bit heartbroken, but I try to not let it get to me because I know it's going to happen time after time. And then one day I will maybe get a better part than I auditioned for in the first place.
That's a good one. I was saying that today, that actually you've just been protected or redirected.
Yeah.
And maybe this is what I was talking about as well. Still, I want you and any other young person listening to this to still feel like you've won. Yeah. Like, well done, you turned up, you prepared, you did a brilliant audition. Or even if something went wrong and it didn't feel like a brilliant audition, you still did the audition. And so when we get to celebrate you got the part, that's great. But I think all the bits along the way should be celebrated, and then getting the part is almost a bonus.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, it was very different. It was Nanny would get upset for me, which was very sweet. But that would make me feel extra upset. Is there anything I can do? So is there anything that the parents of the young children could do to help you when you do feel rejected?
Yeah.
What can we do to help you?
I mean, you can probably support them and say, even if you didn't get that part, you're going to get a part in the future, because it's not always like you're not going to get the part. And it's about what the casting director wanted more than what you did.
Good. Oh, that's good. So you did everything right, good, true to yourself, and it's just you weren't picked this time. That you feel those words would actually make you feel better. Oh, that's good. No, because you might get... you told me that last time. Yeah, I think I like to do a bit of distraction. I'd be like, come on then, let's go for a nice walk, or let's go and have some sort of treat. I was going to say like a nice treat. Something that is rewarding, that actually you've done a great job and you shouldn't feel sad and you shouldn't feel down. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to brush off your feelings. I'd be like, yes, no, you're fine, come on, let's have ice cream or whatever. I would want you to feel that your feelings
Yeah, I also feel like you need to let them maybe cry if they needed to cry, or you need to let them like put those feelings on your shoulders, say, before you kind of brush them away.
That's nice. So let the feelings land.
Yeah.
Tell them that you understand and you feel sad for them as well, and then try and move on and celebrate. I think it's brilliant if you've got another audition or tape, because you can throw your energies, although the child might want a moment, but then you can throw your energies into something new that perhaps you were meant for. Nice, very nice advice, thank you. So so you're busy balancing this, you're busy handling your emotions.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you something I've loved witnessing in you in the last year or two is that every time you've had an emotion, like if you had an upset with friendships or struggled with something at school, we've always gone, oh, it makes you a better actor. Yeah. And I've seen that smile on your face, and actually it's become a little tool for us. Yeah. You've been very lucky in that you just bring a positive attitude to everything, but on the rare times that you are struggling, we do tap into that.
Yeah.
I quite like that. But that made me kind of lose my thoughts. So how do you balance everything? School, self-tapes, when I'm going to, come on, learn these lines, do this, do that.
I can struggle with it sometimes. I feel like it helps if you keep a routine, say like get ready, get dressed, go to dance, then learn your lines. And also like, say I needed to skip dance or something, I would, if I knew the week before, I would definitely like take everything in, tell my teachers, like almost work harder, because I know I wasn't going to be there next week.
Oh, that's good. I know with your theatre school, they've got the portal, haven't they? So I don't think that you've ever skipped any. You might have, maybe there was an illness, I don't know.
Yeah, there was a few illnesses.
But that you can catch up on there, which, again, when I was young, we couldn't do that. I used to struggle and be, I think I hired a video camera once ahead of one of my dancing exams so I could go in and ask the teacher. But nowadays, quite often, if you ask your teacher, they'll let you video something and then you can take it home and practice.
Yeah, 'cause sometimes, like, say in contemporary, because everyone's older in contemporary, they're like, if you want to go grab your phone and film it, go for it. But the class has ended. You have to do it after the class.
Yeah, so you have to hang back, spend a few minutes doing that whilst it's fresh in your head. Yeah. I think that's a really good idea, and then you've got that resource.
Yeah, and then sometimes one person films it and sends it to the rest. So, like, not everyone has to stay after class.
And how do you learn your lines? Do you have a particular method?
Highlighting. I know that doesn't help that much, but it definitely helps me.
It helps me.
Yeah. And going over them a lot and saying the line a few times, flipping it over, saying it, flipping it over, learn the next one.
So you'll say it out loud?
Yeah, I'll say it out loud. Sometimes I like to record my lines and then listen back to them and then record again when I'm not looking at the thing, and then I can like compare them.
Oh, that's really good. I didn't know you did that, because I often say recording can be good, or recording your cue lines. That's nice, like a test. If you haven't got an adult, because sometimes it is hard. Yeah. I want to help you, but I'm also running everybody around, working, sorting stuff out in the kitchen. And then if you're like, oh, Mum, can we go through my lines? I'd feel really bad. And come to think of it, you've barely ever asked that. So it's really interesting that most children have a phone, a tablet, somewhere where they could record their own voice. So you actually test yourself and then compare. There's school of thought as well that if you do get something wrong and you notice it, you get it right better after, if that makes sense.
Sometimes if I read it and then I learn it wrong, when I read it, I still read what I've learned instead of...
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'll read
You've got a word wrong.
What I've got wrong instead of reading what it actually says.
Do you ever notice then when you listen to it back? Yeah. Do you go, that's not quite that word?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really good.
It's just a bit easier.
Because the last thing you want to do is have ingrained in your brain a wrong word, because then it's really hard to go over.
In dance, they'll teach you a bit wrong, and then you'll keep practicing that and keep practicing that.
They'll change the choreography or something. Yeah.
Or they'll accidentally get it wrong because they've got it on a video, say.
Oh, okay.
And then they'll be like, oh, that's wrong, we'll change it. And I'll be like, then I try to do the moves and I'm like, that's the wrong move again.
That's interesting, isn't it? So it keeps coming back. So with lines, I do think that's a really good way. Yeah. If ever you want, just come and ask me. I will run them with you.
Yes.
I know I'm busy, but I will run them with you. Okay, so that's balancing everything. We talked about liners, so you're saying a routine helps with balancing everything. Yeah, I agree. And I also like the break-in routine. Like right now we're on Easter holiday.
Yeah.
So you're getting to have a little bit more chill time.
Yeah.
Because you have holiday from dance as well. And theatre school.
Yes.
So actually it's been quite good that we've had a few auditions
Even that,
and
like,
things come
my
out.
teachers, they've gave me my SATs book, say, but they'll still be like, we know it's called a holiday because it's called a holiday for a reason. If you've got some free time, do it. But we're also saying, don't spend all your holiday doing it because it is a holiday.
That's nice. How would you feel if your agent was like, Lacey, we've got this tape, do it if you want, but it's holiday, you don't have to. What would you do?
I would definitely do it, yeah.
Why?
Because it's a part that you can get paid or not paid. It's still like experience.
Brilliant. Yeah, if it's coming from your agent, it would be a paid role. Yeah, there's some things I submit you for sometimes that I see that I think, oh, that would be a good experience. But yeah, if it's coming from you, so good point, you'll get paid. That's always a good bonus. Get paid to do what you love. Yeah, I think you're right, and I think I'd be like that, and most people I know would say, oh, well, it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think we always, excuse me, find time for a self-tape.
Yeah.
It can be late at night and you can be tired and I go, do you want to do this tape or not? It needs to be in by tomorrow. And generally, I think you say, yeah, I'll do it. Let's do it.
If I fancy it and it's late and I'm tired, or it's early and I'm tired, I'll usually say do it. But sometimes I don't fancy a tape. Sometimes I still do it.
You do.
But sometimes if I don't fancy a tape, I'll be like, can we do it any other time? Because I don't fancy it right now. If it's a no, probably still do it.
Anyway, yeah, I think you have said that before. Like, well, do I have to do it today? And I've gone, actually, you've got a week for this one.
Yeah.
But if I find, this is another thing about you saying being organised, if we put it in the calendar, like today, I put it in the calendar. I think we're a few minutes later than we said, but I put a time and a date. And that was because I was back later than I said. But I put a time and a date in when we're going to do it. And more often than not, then we stick to it.
Yeah.
And if we can't, it's still ours. We can rearrange it.
Yeah.
Like I say, oh, actually, we did a tape the other night. And I said, girls, 7 p.m. And then we came down later.
We've never done the us two tape first.
No, that brings me to my next point I was going to bring up. Whoopsie. When we have a deadline.
Yeah.
Imposed by the agent, you've got a week, you've got 24 hours, got to be in by tomorrow. We always do it, 100%. Even though they always come when we're busy, we always make it work. There's something about a deadline. However, when we get a little project that we decide to do, or maybe agent suggests, oh, that would be nice. No, that's recreate a new duologue scene has been on our list for months. I didn't put it in the calendar, and guess what? We haven't done it.
Yeah.
We should do it later.
It's definitely tricky to fit it in because especially when it's like a duologue, you've got to find a time where you're both free, both willing to do it, and when you want to do it.
We got your monologue done, didn't we, quite quickly, because I just basically nagged you to learn it and said, come on then, we'll film it.
Yeah.
And that was quick and easy.
I like it when you kind of have a script, but then you can go off the script because you don't have to learn it line by line. Like my monologue, that was made by ChatGPT. And of course,
we put a lot of info into it to make it suitable for
my agent didn't know what the monologue was.
That's you had
so I could like go off a bit and skip lines and muddle them up a bit, and I find that easier.
Did she say after your first submission of this new monologue?
She said I was wearing makeup that day, and she didn't want me to wear makeup because she wanted me to look my age, of course. So we had to do it again with no makeup.
Do you know why that is?
Because of playing age.
Yeah. Why is it good to look your age or younger rather than your age or older most of the time?
Because younger role, when you're older, you can only really get older roles. But it depends, like, you know, when you're starting to go into that teen age, you can't really be like, oh, I'm 10, but because you don't look like it. But definitely looking younger and also being able to look older and looking your age gives you like more of a chance to get all your parts.
I think it's twofold. I think you've said quite a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah.
I think licensing is important. So there's some, I think 16 licensing and 18 licensing. So if they can get those children that need less chaperoning, less licensing to come and play younger.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Also, they've already had that experience and more experience. So if you're playing a 11, 10, 9, 8-year-old, you've got those experiences bagged. Whereas if you're suddenly playing a 14-year-old, okay, you've got your sister to mimic. So actually that's not the best example because you've got quite a lot of insight into that. If they said to you, you know, you're playing a 16-year-old, that would be harder because you haven't got those 16-year-old experiences. And plus, they might as well get a 16 or 18-year-old. That's going to be very... much easier to license.
You don't want to play older. You really want to play younger.
Definitely.
Than older.
And did your mum maybe suggest that it might be a good idea not to wear makeup for this?
Yeah.
Did you listen?
No.
And then your agent says, and like a little miracle angel, it happens.
Angel agent.
Yeah, no, I meant you were the angel.
Oh,
if your agent speaks to you, you're like, yes, of course.
Thank you.
You're pretty good. You're pretty good for me, to be honest. But that was really nice for me to feel backed up.
Yeah.
I was like, actually, we're saying the same thing, and it doesn't really matter whether it comes from me or her. If it gets done, then brilliant. Well, you're being so good, but try not to fiddle with your necklace, but only because I think it will rattle in your microphone.
Oh,
I could be wrong, but we'll find out. If you've been hearing some rattling, that's Lacey. Lovely new necklace. Okay, so this leads us on to, because we've just talked about listening to me and listening to agents. What is it like then working with your mum, either as your drama coach or on set with you?
Yeah, it's quite nice because I know you. I don't have to like bond to someone new, but then it can be harder because you're like almost caring for me more or less.
Yeah, come on, suck it up, Lacey, you'll be fine. Whereas everyone's like, oh, Lacey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can be hard, but then also you can bring the stuff I need.
That's true.
But they might not know what I need.
Actually, I talk about sucking it up. Your last one, your dad was your chaperone. So I only heard about this.
It was actually easier than you.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, say why. And then talk a bit about your experience, because I think it sounded quite grueling, but that you dealt with it really well.
It was really nice. Yeah.
Talk about it.
So I had to get rained on by like a hose and stuff, and I didn't have a coat on, and I didn't have an umbrella. Didn't have an umbrella. Yeah, this was like January.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So it was quite cold. But of course I had a towel and I had a coat on like set with me, but I wasn't wearing them. And then soon after, like my dad would be holding my coat and almost like chuck it to me. And then Bethan, who was helping me, she would have my towel and she would just run up to me and like in between takes. So yeah, it wasn't that cold actually.
Do you enjoy being rained on?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And in the first tape, it was actually raining, and that was colder than the hose.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Interesting. And how was it easier than being chaperoned by Dad compared to me?
I feel like you asked me loads more questions because you are an actor yourself, and you're like making sure I know everything. But my dad, my dad kind of just lets me go on, like get on with it.
So you preferred that?
Yeah.
Why? It's totally cool. I'm not offended. I'm interested because other parents will have this potential issue. So why did you prefer just to get on with it?
I feel like it's a little bit easier because I can kind of be myself more, ask my own questions instead of being like babied, if you know what I mean.
And I can absolutely see that I would baby you, or like, do you get that? Do you understand that? Is that okay? Blah, blah, blah. Whereas before you know it, you're going to be old enough to be on sets on your own. Yeah. So to have that, so I think if parents can mix up who chaperones their child, obviously someone safe that they trust, either a professional chaperone or a parent or guardian. But it sounds like we were just in that situation and it worked really well for you. And I promise I will back off on your next set.
It's okay.
So from set to self-tapes at home, we've talked about them a little bit. You probably don't know the difference because you've started acting in this era of self-tapes. But what is your take on self-tapes and doing a self-tape? Do you like it?
I definitely prefer a self-tape than an in-person audition, because even though an in-person audition is definitely a better experience, a self-tape you can kind of just pause it, start again if you mess up. But in-person audition, if you mess up, you can ask to start again, but it still kind of hold it against you.
They might do.
Yeah.
I think all the casting directors know that you get as many takes as you like. But that's interesting you say if you mess up. A lot of your self-tapes are one-take wonders. You do the prep, you record it. I think I let you do it 3 times. And often we send the first one.
Yeah.
Because it's the most
also
natural.
I don't like doing it too many times. I find that when I do it too many times, then I get bored of it. And then I just mess up like more. So
what do you mean by mess up? What's messing up in your life?
Well, like stumbling on a line or doing the wrong movement. Not that that matters too much, but or like skipping lines, going back to them, and then it just like kind of wiggles around and it's just way different.
And do you ever watch back your self-tapes? No? Do you in rehearsal?
In rehearsal,
like when we are doing the tape?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Because sometimes I've said, come around and watch this. Why do we do that? Because some people do, some people don't.
I don't like listening to my own voice. No. A main reason. Also, then I find all the things that I've done wrong, and then I'm like, it doesn't look good, and then I'll do it again and do it again, and then I'll start messing up and messing up more.
I think if we're looking for one specific thing, because we know you need to get over the voice thing. Everybody's voice sounds different on tape. Everybody's voice sounds different in their own ears to receiving it through the air of others. But I think when I say to you, something as simple as, you don't do this anymore, but in the early days I'll say, come round and see the tape. Do you see your eyes catch the camera there? And you'll be like, oh yeah, I see that. Okay, I've got to look over here. Or something like, I can't quite get your gestures, they need to be higher. Like, I think if it's something really tangible, you come round, you see it, and again, because it's mum, drama coach going at you all the time, when you can see it and hear it, I think it's almost better than me telling you. Because you can see and hear it for yourself. But I agree that some actors I've seen working, they go and watch the monitor, like after the director lets them. I was unsure because I didn't want to say, I don't look like how I look or whatever. I need to get better at that if it's on offer. But some actors are really good at watching themselves back and taking from it and not just going, I don't like my outfit. And others are not. Some like it, some don't. I think a combo is good for you. You've already got me coaching you, you've got your agent, and then you've got self-tapes. What would be really fun, I think, for you would to go back and watch some early days self-tapes. Almost like watching a different person, going, I like what she does with this. And actually she could do that better. You could use that as almost a learning tool and see how far you've come.
Sorry, I keep flicking through the cameras because my
That's all right.
phone is so much more orange than yours.
That's because you've got one of those screen... I don't know what you call them, like privacy screen things.
I was going to say, yours is...
Yeah, we're trying out...
Sorry.
You don't need to be sorry. It's nice that you're here. We're trying out doing 2 cameras. So you like self-tapes and you actually prefer them to in-person auditions. I'm with you, but for a different reason. I like the fact that it doesn't cost me anything to travel and it doesn't cost me much time. I can do it on my own time. Now we've got lights as well, whereas in the early days we could only do it in daylight. But I feel it earns me time and money if I get a self-tape as opposed to an in-person. But I do love going and meeting people. So I think if I can have the majority self-tapes, but then a sprinkling of in-person is... Because you also never know who you're going to meet. I love meeting and connecting with
meeting them, but then also like... I'll kind of fall in love with them, not in like a weird way. And then you'll be like, I didn't get the job, I can't see them again. And then I'm like,
I live by the send the tape and forget it for both of us. But when I've been in the last play I didn't get, I was upset, wasn't I? And you're not used to seeing that. I was disappointed because I felt so much more connected from meeting them all in person and seeing who got the roles. I would have loved to do that. So I absolutely agree. So I think for young actors, to have more self-tapes, it feels like less rejection. than in person.
Because then, like, in person, they'll be like, everyone, can you come in, please? Number, da-da-da. You haven't got it.
Like you're thinking of like professional panto, whereas mine was very much, we all went home and then we found out by email.
But like panto, it would be like, this person, this person, this person. You're like, please be me, please be me. And then when they say you didn't get it, it's definitely harder when it's in person when they say you didn't get it, because then you're like...
They tried to be very respectful, didn't they? To say, don't shout out, yes, if it was your number. And when your sister got called that time, I really was very professional and just internalised my yes. But I wanted to give a big yes as well.
Because
it's really hard.
when my number got called, then I was like in my head.
Yeah. Where are we? Self-tapes. So you like self-tapes and you actually prefer them to in-person auditions, but you do like the connection that you get with others. Oh, on to theatre then. Theatre in inspiration. I know that you love theatre. And
I love
as a family, we love theatre. What shows have you loved recently?
I love A Wicked. That was a good one. Hamilton.
Yes.
Excited to see High School Musical as well.
Oh yes, we're going to go and see High School Musical tonight. That's a one close to my heart because I put that on back when I was teaching, and this is your theatre company, the same people who run your theatre company doing a school show. I'm looking forward to going to see that
too.
tonight. I think it'll be fun. I really like the mix that we get to see of professional and amateur theatre.
Yeah. Come From Away, that was good. That was brilliant.
Brilliant. And the cast were incredible. And I think you had so much to look at there in terms of using simple set to create all the different places, spaces, people, emotions.
Because to see that in person was good, because I've watched it like 4 times on screen, of course. And even though it was amateur, it was like brilliant.
It was a really brilliant production.
Yeah.
And we knew quite a few people in it as well, which was nice. We didn't see your dad the whole time because he was off in the interval chatting, wasn't he?
Yeah, he knew loads of people who came to watch.
He was having a great old time.
Didn't see him.
But you mentioned seeing theatre on TV. We are so lucky nowadays. Well, we're unlucky in that theatre tickets prices are phenomenal. We would go a lot more if they were less.
Yeah, they've got to be like birthday presents.
Yeah,
now.
there'll be special occasions, haven't they? But I think we are lucky in that much more theatre is screened.
Yeah.
So we can go and watch it on. I think you saw Hamilton on Disney Plus before you saw it in real life.
So same as Wicked.
And I like listening to a musical before. Yeah, we've mentioned lots of musicals.
I like knowing the story before I go.
Me too. It's a good job I didn't go and see Les Mis before I'd listened to it, because I think I would have been really confused.
Yeah.
I do like to know it a bit.
Yeah.
But some people like the surprise. I don't know, I think I like to
know
it, hear it. I like to listen to it before and after. And then get sick of it and leave it for a few years.
Yeah.
So you particularly like watching musical theatre by the sounds of things. And what makes you feel inspired about the theatre?
I really enjoy, like, when we went the backstage tour of Royal Ballet, seeing all the costumes and how they make the scenery, and backstage, it was like really cool, and I felt expired.
You weren't expired.
I felt inspired. That's
Good.
It. Not expired.
No, that would be a sad time if the theatre expired you.
Inspired. I felt inspired.
Yeah, inspired. Yeah.
Oh,
you've said the word so many times it's making you feel weird now.
Yeah. Inspired by all the stuff, because you get to see what goes on backstage. Because when you go watch it, you're like, oh, that was great. They could have done this better. But you don't see what they do backstage.
Were there any of those jobs that you liked the look of? Would you be interested in the technical elements or the backstage elements?
I liked the painting stuff, but I know I'm not very good at art, so
that
wouldn't be great.
Painting scenery.
Yeah, that was
cool.
Oh,
yeah, we went, was it right upstairs or right downstairs? And they were making all the props and the scenery, and they were painting burnt out trees or corpses or something. I was a bit worried that you might find it quite creepy. But it was fantastic in the art department. The creative buzz, we're used to the creative buzz of theatre and TV, but the creative buzz around the artwork was really lovely to be.
It was such a silent room as well.
Yes.
It was completely quiet.
It was peaceful but exciting.
Yeah.
interesting.
Kind of seemed noisy even though it was quiet.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm picturing standing in there. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It had a buzz about it. Definitely. Yeah, so of course, just because we love performing, there are so many other elements to theatre and TV that you can be involved in. Okay, I think that's everything that I wanted to chat to you about. Now, traditionally, so I think you're my third guest on the podcast, and every guest I've done this with, every time I've done this with a guest, I've made a mess of that. You are my third guest. With my first two guests, I did a quick fire round.
Oh.
So I think that should now be a DramaCast podcast tradition.
Okay.
DramaCast? I've lost it now.
Every time I smile, I can just see the gap in my tooth and I'm like...
A drama coach podcast tradition. Ooh, that can be our new tongue twister warm-up. A drama coach podcast tradition. Are you up for it?
Yes.
A quick fire round.
Let's
okay,
go.
Lacey. One thing you've learned from being on set.
Whoa.
It's got to be quick. The first thing that pops to mind. One thing that you learned about being on set.
Go for it.
I love that. A moment you felt really proud of yourself.
After getting showered on.
Okay, awesome. Something you do when you feel nervous before performing.
Pick my skin.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably not a good... Let's rephrase that and let's have something positive you do if you're feeling nervous. What would you do to help yourself?
I like fidgeting with something.
Okay, so fidgeting with something helps calm your nerves.
Yeah.
But we'll try not to pick your skin.
Yeah.
I didn't know you'd inherited that terrible trait from me.
I
I'm
always
sorry.
pick my skin. Yeah.
Okay, final quick fire.
Okay.
One piece of advice for other young performers.
Definitely go all in. Find what's best for you. Like, I like happy, joyful self-tapes more than I like miserable, crying self-tapes.
You do get quite a few of those.
Yeah. And to go all in, try your best, and not be too downhearted when you don't get it.
I love that. Thank you. That was like a triple answer in one question.
Yeah.
I think that's really beautiful, and I hope people listening to you can feel helped and inspired by how you're managing everything. I'm really proud and impressed, and thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Would you like anybody to follow you anywhere if they are listening to this and want to see what you're up to?
Instagram.
Amazing. Instagram, completely run by me because you are far too young, but I do let you see it, and I do ask you about what I post on there, and you say to me what you want on there. So Lacey does have an Instagram. Can you remember your Instagram handle?
No.
No, I would imagine it's something like @Lacey.Southam.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you go and follow the drama coach, you can absolutely ask me, drop me a message, and I'll show you Lacey's handle for her Instagram. We're obviously not used to. We've never shared that, have we?
Yeah.
But it is, you do have to request, and I check them, and I will accept the relevant people who want to follow you, because hopefully you can follow them back and you can each see what young actors are doing and share your top tips and your experiences. Thank you so much, Lacey Southam, for being on the podcast.